Dear Turkey, I have a plan. We are this first simultaneously distinct, non-distinct, simultaneous, sequential, and more than that to help no one ever thought of. Everyone to make way better than anyone thought. We have the means now. We have the means to demonstrate needs for release changes to law that they never thought about because they're already in defense of what is criminal in serious nature. For example, demonstrated the subject and with predicate value as two identities of volume, also with a third one in arrangement of how we see this one identity, a value progression, and its identity of relationship to itself. Because as semi-nature, as a trinity, which is three different identities of as a shared one. And see, this is how one identity is also five semi-natures. For example, as the pillars of Islam. For example, about this with the first part of the Quran, the first part of the Old Testament. No one, everyone will speak about it. Everyone will have sensibilities, though grabbing like making positive treatments that are semi-nature, not with the simultaneous nature that is all about this. It is a trinity as those five natures, distinctly, not distinctly, and simultaneously, as the three natures, and in and sequentially. So there's a circuit. Part of it, part of the value of forever nature that is one exit where existence and space were the same exact identity. It took part of that. We could only stay complete, but it made it simultaneously the value of existence, and the as it's also that same original complete volume. So now a semi-nature of existence come comes into its complete identity of volume, which has an inherent active and progressive nature of volume. So what's active is see where space and existence share an identity in distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously. It is that identity of relationship to itself also, and it is the value of that, and then further with the five. I mean, in sequence. So this is the circuit in general, because then the complete nature fills in what can't go separate. So that what was taken from space value is constantly being added to it by this identity of value progression perfects identity of relationship to itself and the value of that. So these are natures of invisible but discernible, the subject and predicate value. When a main verb is not used as a main verb, it becomes a participle nature, present participle, always formed by adding ing to a verb. So running. Now it's no longer a verb. The identity of value changes. This is identity's nature of volume. This is volume science. See volume theory, victim predators behind that. You know, and then defending that. Everyone, this is everyone. We have to take a flank from our species positions as humanity, where nature is value. We have to understand that and how pantheism was revealed by the species before it became criminally foreign influenced. Our nature is value, value is nature, and it was done through a method where they completely then to be perpetually. The method is set us up to be only this is not a conspiracy theory. This is a pathology, self-defended, maintain self-defended though. The only way to counter this is to force. See, the ancients knew, but this is the plan. This is the plan. admitting, like I said, we know each modern nation is sickly, a victim, sickly distinctly. And see, everyone not by accident. Everyone blames all their causes. Nature is going to keep demonstrating negative value nature progressions, acts, natures, like predicate acts, especially legalized criminal and ceaseless nature, all victims. Blaming other things other than themselves, not but that's how powerful this trap is. We're on a tactically denatured relationship to the ground. So if we would just take means together, we could bring back paradise everywhere. But there are proofs that the only reason there's a desert in northern Africa is because they took down the mountains. Then you take down everything. See, because this is where fact cheaping nature is the target. But see, in other words, so we could bring means that if we can make a peace and we realize that Russia and China, they have these problems too. If we can give stability, well, the more we can give stability, we can reveal. See, we have to understand the first part of the Quran, first part of the Old Testament, but where it's about science, and keep this science. Only what is true always, not denies. That's why the first part of the Quran gives people to the right to the obligation to stand up if they disagree about anything. All I have to do is agree about the name of Allah, and this is about the subject. See, the ancients revealed it. Someone's so. I'm saying then see, no one can deal. Who's gonna leave it up to people to write what they're gonna do with economics and stuff? That's what I'm trying to say. This is value nature system, economics value systems. We're not going to heal any. We're going to have to stop, do it all at once. We just have to be aware of it. Then we make this a platform for it, not for the same crap. This is how we counter the tactically denatured relationship to nature, even where the most beautiful places are. Tactically denatured, built to keep negative. The real causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and nature is being Allah's identity of relationship to itself. English was revealed to teach this. 13, these are too long. All 26 letters are sounds. Sounds of the modern ancient languages, just like us, individually grouped and together to see the shared identity. That's how it see the sequence nature before and beyond this two other natures of sequence nature. See this person here, Thomas Cone, writing about disgusting things because he's a victim. Forgiveness is like, no, was if he was here. So, I mean, I don't want to be here. Dude, see, you never had education because that's what I'm trying to tell us. Hey, if you want to bring the world knows they're sickly hurt, each nation. You want to deal with each nation simultaneously, we can bring it to way beyond what anyone can fathom right now, instantly. Nothing else could defend its logic. That's why you see all fakes on the news. YouTube.com/user/Romulus Wall. It will heal you all. You read the first part of the Quran. You're sick. Both sides. Read the first part of where it says to sciences. And then we'll talk about the predicate act, how it's in demonstration of criminal and ceaseless nature, especially legalized. So I'm saying I'm always only offering help. I'm not getting involved with other people's lands and stuff like that. I'm trying to say not one land has free speech. So no one's letting the Quran or the Old Testament. And so it's being said, and so it stays online. Because we're the only people where that's there. We're talking about every day. They're grabbing values from it out of sequence nature. People that do push the Bible, that push the Quran. They're doing as criminal and seditious nature. You can't defend your treatments of positive at that and what it's about really. That's why the front of it, where the person has the right to stand up, is so important. We have to go deep with the water we're going to bring, and it changes the nature. And with the animals, put back. You know, what are people going to do? Guns in desert. There's no land. Everything changes. People's what they'll agree to do will change because the means they have means that no one could afford, individually grouped together, not by accident. This is what we only need, not faith. Just understand each book is about a subject about the same thing, but different words and different distinctly. That's valued by it because in other words, this is English is a grouped language. The ancients revealed this before the humanity became criminally foreign influenced. We liberated each other from all kinds of. That's probably what took out the dinosaurs because they were eating us. Probably is my theory. We were cultivated. But see, we have to just know basic thing. We have to start. We have to have. We're going to take back education, which is ancient revelations. So we're in a semi-ancient trap. That's a completely fact cheap in nature. It wants everyone to defend further and further. Theater called criminal and seditious nature. This is as we are as forever nature. We have now as a quality of diffusion. We have now to reveal, to enable its identity of relationship to itself that reveals evolution's fruits and gifts. English is revealed to teach about evolution, not Darwin. This is volume science and theory tied to science. That's not what's published about volume theory. Big Bang. How could something bang until it's generated? Scientology. With the science, no, they're criminally foreign influence in some ancient times, and no one said it. I'm not a lawyer. So it's delusions wrought with our takes on our nations. They have our founding fathers' identity stole. Before they were born, this was entrenched here. Already slavery. They had to leave it entrenched in the north of America and south, everywhere. Only even with the French general's help. America's founding father, one of his founding fathers, George Washington, a military founding father, could only semi-counter extort that with six slavery. Well, against everyone. A distinctly crazy laws, a database relationship since before computer databases. Line progressions from the suits and ties. I tell no lies. So all we have to do is admit that, and that nature itself is value. It is values course. Boxing. I'll drop the force. Not with this forever. This is the force. This is surging through even the force. This is the only thing that surges through all things at once. As way. In many pray. Boxing. Boxing, I was gonna have to invent for an area that I needed it, but we could do it now. We have to do it. We have to do species wide to get the humanity to flank to go bring the paradise. We have to be able to afford things that no one can afford individually grouped it together unless we do this. We do that. Why would we not? You know why? Because everyone's defending how they were told to do things. Everyone's defending blamed on other things, others themselves, and then defend that because everyone has to chase positive out of negative. Not by accident, with means far short. Again, individually grouped together, play this pathology theater, criminally legalized criminal and seditious nature, self-value by each modern nation. Take one moment to force this be the subject and the predicate, its identity itself, inseparable with more than that, and the value of more than more too. This is surging through all things alone. It is true. It's not just words. Oh, drop the force, boxing. Not you guys. I just wanted to say. I'll talk like that to nations for you guys, Syria and Turkey, if you want. You know, I beg too the nations, and they'll help us, and they'll help themselves too, because we'll make the machinery that is on a scale and to do things. Forget the zoning laws. Here comes paradise. That's what we do. That's what paradise is, a scientific value. We have to learn what a physical delusion is, because our experts are delusions wrought, juxtaposed with criminally foreign influence, fact-shaping nature. All we need is to admit, and real reliefs, and everyone learn how to think, how to be, because our formal identities. I'm speaking now regarding the sciences. Victim predators maintained from off campuses of each age, here and there, sickly distinctly, but sickly non-distinctly. To keep out simultaneously and to keep out non-distinctly, blame the other things, others themselves. Real things, but things that are apparent, and even when it's real, when it comes down to it, that's not really what's keeping everyone from staying ill. The identity of negative value, nature, progression, the value of the body of humanity, the species. Body of value discernment, we will learn, because the campuses are criminally foreign influence. They never taught anyone. So then they want those fake sick people that will deal. I'm against ISIS for not allowing the first part of the Quran have its substance and have the value of that sequence nature, because we are. But I'll defend them too, even from those prison people with the prison international prison control people. They're this is what is fluent through our nations. So these are been with child abuses, elderly abuses, elderly homes. Then they're going to pay for this, because we have psychology. We're gonna take this out of these nations sick, fake punk sides. All right, I'll do that for you guys if you want. I just had to offer, you know. And I'll talk to these guys who obviously never had heard a voice not as criminal ceases nature, type things like that on someone's page. Vaccines. I understand the wars are not war. That's all I'm trying to say. The only way to counter those things is as fact-cheaping nature, but it won't come as that fact-cheaping nature. What they train. This is from off campuses. They already self-valued what they don't even understand. Former director, I don't want to mix things. Vaccines. They did though. They did. They know they did. But they forged names and switched names because of the sequence racketeering of nations, each modern nation's involved with, and how keeps them forced to self-value, because then they fight about stuff where it's supposed to be, quote, peaceful, unquote. Then they value that as peaceful. It's not peaceful only in relationship to all that too, though, where everyone stayed. Self-valued, forced, glorified. Fact-cheaping nature, slavery, forced theater of our founders too. This was entrenched here from semi-ancient trap. Then modern nations were realized. Extorted like everyone in them. State scenarios, logic racketeering. What are they going to do? Whoever you could be a pharaoh. What are they going to do? State scenarios, all criminal and seditious natures already defended, self-valued, defenses of logic racketeering, sequence racketeering, all mass criminal seditious natures. They built a trap. Then what do? They make them go, hate the dictator. Not the finite facts. Hate the dictator. That's it. So they could just pretend that, and then they believe that we can't delineate the delusions with their criminally foreign influenced fact achievements and sequence racketeering roles and natures here and there. Enter campuses of each age tide. All rise. Can't even, you know what they do? They don't give writing. And they lie about the exceptions that are all involved with that too. Krim was sick, worse than that shit. Originally instilled. Religion fell. The legion, the species, the humanity needs the ways, means, reliefs. That's how we get it. We admit that nature and its nature of relationship to itself, and we ask simultaneously. We set up means where they could fathom too, the nations each, what they couldn't fathom before. We replace what are they doing now in China? Probably with nothing against China, but psychology. They don't even realize China, America, because they're with the schools some sick ways. The ancients revealed when we are valuing individual rights, individual value, individual identity, when we are valuing that grouped value, identity, and species, a body of value, identity, at the same time, positive, it's in that sequence, individual first. Think about it. That's where the finite comes from. That's where the beauty of the rest of it, that's where the evolution's fruits and gifts come from. This gives the entire species the Santa Claus. I tell it best. Boxings. I tell you things. So if you guys want the species coach, type that. Don't type all all that stuff on my page. So I offer. I come hard for you guys. All fact, treatment, nature, quality. There's one way to fight and no hurt, but I'll win. Boxings, begin. We want that back too, that name. Campus Marcius needs the name. Who'll train? Billions of people in the world will help. A little 200 miles. We're playing with sick systems, all victims. But victim predators, this is completely a fact, cheaping nature racketeering. This is where and how we are valued. By the real reason we are valued in knowing it. Consciousness. God is an algebraic variable that we're not. The prayer is a position in the correlation here where, in relationship to how this identity of value progression is its identity of relationship to itself, and is the value of that, and then is the value of that further, and with the sequence true, always trying to figure it out, not denying any exceptions. We're trying to figure out what's true always. And with all exceptions and demonstration of that same thing too. How could that be about everything else? Because that's the identity. That's the identity of relationship to itself. You watch these people. They pay those people off, but it's also other ways. Oh, it's how they make you feel. The guy with the Lincoln commercial. I don't know his name. Nothing personal against him. I think he's a good actor. But see, with the Lincoln Town Car place, but there were also local ad companies, time placements, and people involved further with a principal child defenders campus. But with all the campuses tied to that one, I know this stuff because those people are also involved in their branch, Washington, D.C. That's why they made confessions to me from and then people that were no, I had nothing to pretend other. They have a whatever about that. I'm just trying to say. I know about how what some of the media and stuff like that. They're pretending stuff in the background because they're influenced to it. They already attach me to fake locations in my nation, America. And see now they're making it bad for our country because then they have to fight at the trade center attack. I mean, each nation has a trade place. So we're going to examine how the value nature system all slash S, even not even united, because it can't be. Only one system is united, and it's about value, which is about identity, which is about positive and negative, which is about one identity that will only stay positive to itself. Now that we're not on its system and as its system complete, it will force lethal hadiths, force negative value nature progressions, acts and natures, acts like predicate acts, natures like criminal and seditious natures, wrongdoers, mass wrongdoing. That's what speaks. Call mountain pigs, they come. Boxing is fun. Look below our feet, how deep. What means? For free. Way, way more than, we have to have the right nature relation means to fathom. We have to give these people. You have nuclear bombs all this time, all these nations, and we're still in this tactically denatured relationship to pathology of homes, of infrastructure, of means to it, since before cars, since before our founders were born, and into their own slavery, which is not even had led free speech because they're forced to glorify other, while everyone else is pretending they were involved with the slavery. People come through sick schools, the sickly distinctly, the same way, sickly non-distinctly, so it's not discerned. How simultaneously too. Not one school is good, but through comparison, the. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Okay, thank you for coming out this evening. So there are means when way redeems. I'll read all things all wrong. Boxing is strong, but give it rest. I tell it best. No joke though.